This is Motherhood Unsaid. Real conversations about motherhood, spoken honestly.
This is Motherhood Unsaid. And I'm Megan. I wasn't here the last 2 weeks because I just gave birth to my second son on the 10th. So I'm exhausted, but I'm excited to
Great.
be.
And today we're talking about the parts of birth no one really prepares you for, how labor begins, and what it feels like when you finally go home with your baby.
Yep, we sure are. And I want to start off by asking you, when did you realize this is actually happening?
I realized it was happening when my water broke, which I thought I would be induced, but my baby had other plans. um, and then I know it was different for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was induced. Yeah, at 36 weeks. But you actually got to experience the whole, like, your water breaking and that, like, whole experience. So when your water broke, like, how did it go down? Like, what happened?
I was eating dinner and then I stood up and I felt like a trickle. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, I know I didn't pee myself. And then I like panicked then I started crying. And I told my husband, I think my water just broke. And he was like, calm down. Like, are you sure you didn't pee yourself? And I was like, no. And then he was like, okay, well, like, do you still feel it coming? And I was like, no. And he's like, okay, well, go to the bathroom, like, check yourself. And I went and I was like, I know if I peed myself, okay? No.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um, then I was like, okay, fine. I didn't feel anything else come. So I was like, I'll go eat dinner. I'll finish my dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stood up again and more came out and it was warm. And I was
Oh
like,
my
okay,
gosh.
time to call the hospital.
Wait, so were you panicking or like were you calm? How did you feel?
No, I was just freaking out because I was not expecting it. Cause I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, the doctor said I was gonna be induced, so okay. And it was just
Yeah.
like 2 more days and I'd be induced.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I wasn't expecting my water to break.
Yeah, so when I was induced, they had to break my water for me. And they when they broke it, it literally felt like a water balloon popped inside my body. Like it was like literally the exact like did it feel like that for you when it broke for you or no?
No, I didn't feel anything.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Yeah, literally I just remember thinking like, what the heck? That was the most insane feeling, like exactly like what you would think feeling like a water balloon pop inside your body would feel like.
Yeah. So
But
since oh wait, so you were induced, did you feel ready when you like got to the hospital?
honestly, no. I was like really nervous because I honestly had no idea what I was going into, you know? Like I don't feel like they give you any like they don't tell you anything. And on top of that, I had COVID. So it was it was 2022. We were in the COVID saga, and yeah, it was very, very, very different than what we had expected. We had to find a hospital that would allow my husband to be with me, and it was intense. They came in suits, okay? Literal astronaut suits. That's the only way I can explain it. They had helmets on with hoses that went to their back, and they only came in those suits. And I had to call on the nurse's phone to talk to them, to ask them questions. Yeah, very, 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 very different than a lot of other people experience. But
Yeah.
um, so right after your water broke, so you went to the hospital, and then when you got there, like, were you like, because you were planning on being induced, so you probably didn't like expect any of that to like go down the way it went. So when you got there, did you feel prepared, like ready for this, or how did you feel?
No, I just remember walking into the hospital and I wish I would have brought other pants because I was just
Oh
it
no.
was just was just like, you literally, it looked like I peed my pants. And I was like, okay. But the hospital was like super nice. Like they already knew I was coming, everything was ready for me. So I didn't feel like scared in that moment.
Hmm.
I felt like, okay, like, I feel some contractions and I didn't really like know what was like gonna happen later on
Hmm.
because then the contractions were intense and I was like, okay.
So when you
This
got to the hospital, how many centimeters dilated were you?
I was only one.
Okay. So when you got there, so you had to like labor it out the whole time. I remember it was like a while. How
Yeah,
many, it was like, how many hours was it?
25.
Yeah. So you were like at the point of almost having to do a cesarean, right?
Yeah. Um, I asked about that, but they didn't really like explain
Oh,
like
okay.
anything really. They're like, no, you're not there, like ready for that yet. I was like, okay.
So did you feel like you progressed quickly or no? I
No,
mean,
so
obviously 25 hours, but
yeah, I felt like I was having contractions every 3 to 5 minutes, but I guess my body, like the contractions weren't strong enough. So
uh-huh.
the nurses were pushing Pitocin and I didn't really want Pitocin. So I was
Yeah.
like, let me just wait it out through the night and see what happens. And I wasn't like progressing at all. So
Hmm.
I was like, okay, well, like I want what's safe and like the baby needs to come out, like I can't just keep waiting.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so they started like a low dose of Pitocin and then the pain like intensified. And
Oh
then
yeah.
they're like, oh, you're still like not dilating. So we're going to have to increase it.
Hmm.
And those pelvic checks, oh my gosh. Like
I
they,
know.
the, I never felt so much pain in my life.
Literally, okay, this is so hilarious. Your brother said I looked like the exorcist on the table because he was like, the life came out of you. He was like, your whole body like floated into the air. I was like, yeah, because what was that? Literally
Yeah.
nobody has ever said like, oh, the checks in the hospital are terrible. Like, no. I was like, oh, sure, no problem. You can check me. And then I was like, what the what was that?
Me too. I was like, nope. I like refused. I was like, you're not checking me again. And then
Yeah. Yeah.
they're like, well, do you want an epidural? And then I waited out for like another 6 hours. And then I was like, fine, I'll get an epidural. Cause just going to the bathroom every 5 minutes and like having like contractions. And I was like, I'm done. I was like,
Hmm.
I'm crying. It's time for the epidural.
So at that point, do you feel like you were like, okay, this is what I knew this was gonna be like, or were you like completely shocked by the experience?
No, I was like shocked. I was like, I mean,
Uh-huh.
I know people like, they're like, oh, it is painful. But I didn't know it was gonna be like,
Like that.
just, yeah, I think
Yeah.
just like the length of being in pain is the worst
Hmm.
part. Like, I felt like it feels like for 3 hours feeling like that. Well, I'm not sure because I wasn't like fully like dilated. I don't know if it would be like even more, like the pain
Hmm.
would even like be more intense. But I was like at my breaking point. I was like, okay, I'm done. So I don't know how people do it.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, because, okay, so when I got to the hospital, I was already 3 centimeters dilated and I was being induced. So when they checked me, they were like, oh, wow, this is great news. Like, you're already 3 centimeters dilated. I was having contractions a couple days before that. And then they were like, we need to break your water. So they broke my water. And then, but before they broke my water, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm already 3 centimeters dilated. Like, this is so easy. I'm going to have no issues at all. Like, and I was just really thinking I was on top of the world. And I was like, why do women complain, you know? And then, then they broke my water. And probably within minutes, I was like dying. Okay, dying. And I was like, epidural, epidural, epidural. Because I was so honestly, I had no idea that it was going to be that intense. Like, yeah, people say it hurts, but like, I thought I was pretty strong. Like, I don't know. So I was just like, what the heck? And then I feel like after that, it was just like a blur, kind of, because I feel like it's such a, I don't want to say traumatic, but traumatic. I had 3 epidurals. They all failed. So I had a natural birth. And yeah, it was definitely not what I expected going into it. Also, having COVID, you know? So I had a birth plan and that got thrown out the window. As soon as I got there, they were like, unfortunately, like, you're not going to have, like, anything that you have on a birth plan's like not going to go. Like, unless you guys can do whatever you can in the room, you know, put on music or whatever. She's like, but that's up to you guys. Like, we can't do anything on our end to help you. It was so crazy. It was very crazy. But did you have a birth plan?
Yeah, I did. I copied our other sister-in-laws. They
So did
pretty
they go?
much, yeah, they've like followed it pretty much.
Oh, good. Okay. That's good then. Yeah, when they gave me Pitocin, when they induced me, they lost the baby's heartbeat. And so they had to like stop the Pitocin immediately. And then they were like, "Yeah, you're just gonna have to labor through this, like without the Pitocin, because my body had already like started like basically going into labor, like, you know, birthing him, whatever." And
Yeah.
but they had to like screw this thing into his head. And I have never even heard of this, okay? It's like a little stent. And they go inside your body and screw it into the baby's head. And they didn't even talk to me about it, honestly. They just said, like, this is what we have to do. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Because, like, in the moment, you're just like, you want the baby to be safe, you know? So, like, I feel like they could have talked to us about a lot of things more. And maybe they would have if we didn't have COVID. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But
Yeah.
it was a crazy experience. And then when he came out, poor little baby had a hole in his head from this screw that they literally had to screw out of his head after he came out. And I was like,
Oh
what
my.
is that? It was so, yeah, I don't even know. But so 25 hours that you were in labor and then you did the epidural and the epidural worked for you, right?
Oh yeah, I like in minutes I felt so much relief and I was like, I why didn't I do this like sooner? I feel like I'm in heaven right now.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for too. It's crazy though. I never knew that epidurals could not work. Like,
Yeah,
I, I had no idea that that was even a thing. Like, they don't tell you about that kind of stuff. You know, like,
I
oh, you
know.
want an
That's
epidural? Well, it might not work.
yeah, that's you're like, wait, what? It's not gonna work?
Yeah. So it like changes everything for you. Because I was like going into it. I know you didn't want an epidural, but I was like, oh, I'm gonna be an epidural princess. Like, I do not want to feel anything. But I felt everything. Okay, so when you went in, like when you were actually going to have him, how did all of that go down?
Well, they checked me and I was like about like 9 centimeters dilated.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden I just felt nauseous. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need a MSS bag right now. No one told me that you throw up. Like the nurses were like, "Oh yeah, you could throw up." And like the way I was sitting, I was kind of like gagging on my own vomit. So
Oh
that
my
wasn't fun
gosh.
at all.
Yeah.
So people just throw up before they have a baby?
Yeah, I've never even heard that either.
So yeah, that was like something. And then um but once I got the epidural, like was dilated super quickly. And
Hmm.
then like 2 hours or 3 hours later, my baby was born.
Yeah. So with the epidural and like delivery and stuff, like, s- did you feel like you were in control at all, or how did that like? What exactly were you feeling with all of that? Or could you
I
not feel anything?
yeah, I didn't like. I didn't feel anything, and I was just like, "Okay, just waiting." But I
Okay.
feel so bad you weren't able to get epidural because I was just like, before I was miserable, and then afterwards, I was, like, so happy.
Yeah, it was not fun. Especially because they had done 3 epidurals and none of them worked, but since they had, like, the needle and stuff in my back, I wasn't able to move, like, even though I was not numb. So, like, when I was going through the contractions and stuff, like, even all the way to the end, like, they would not let me move around, and, like, honestly, at that point, I was like, I wish I never even would have tried to get the epidural. That way I could have, like, been up or, like, on my side or moved over, like, moved however I wanted to, because I could not get comfortable, and I was having, like, major back labor, so it was intense, and the nurses were, like, yelling at me, but but I will say, since I could feel everything, I told them, I was like, "I think you guys should probably check me, like, I feel like he's coming out," and the nurse was like, "Oh, no, like, we just checked how dilated you were, like, it wouldn't happen that quick," and, like, they basically, like, blew me off, and I was like, "No, no, no, like, I think you guys should check, like, I definitely feel like something's going on," and she, like, made a comment like, "Oh, you might just need to go to the bathroom, and that's okay, go ahead if you need to," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then I was like, "No, I'm pretty sure he's out of my like, I'm pretty sure he's coming out." And so she's like, "Okay, I'll check for you." So she came over and she, like, looked, and she's like, "Oh, okay, do not push." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, do not push." And she's like, "Well, I'll be right back." And then she went out, and then there was, like, tons of doctors, like, in the doorway getting their suits on, and they all came in, and it immediately, like, couple minutes later, he was out, and I guess his head was already coming out when I tried to explain that to her, but, um like, we know our bodies, But I
Yeah.
think that was, like, the only cool part about, like, not having the epidural is, like, I was able to really, like, feel everything, so I was able to kind of, like I feel like I was, like, a little bit more, like, in control of it.
Mhm.
And so, like, luckily I didn't tear bad, I just had, like, a labia tear and it was actually the doctor's fault. They said that her hand slipped, and so it, like, tore my labia, I
Oh.
guess. Yeah. So, but if it wasn't for that, I would have not tore, which so, like, maybe that's, like, the plus side of it not getting an epidural, but honestly, I would never wanna go through that again.
Yeah, like, for me, the nurses were like, "So when you have the urge to poop, let us know." And I was like, "What are they talking about?" I was
Oh,
like,
dude.
how do I know I have the urge to poop?"
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure I did, though. Like, they didn't tell me, but I'm pretty sure it happened.
Yeah, well, they're like, "That's how, like, you'll know, like, that's when the baby comes." So, like, that part was kinda weird for me. So, like, since I was numb, it was like you just feel, like, this pressure, like, you
Uh-huh.
have to go number 2. And,
Yeah.
like, you felt it every time, like, a contraction would come, so then they're like, "Okay, get ready to push," and
Oh,
then that's,
really?
like, when I would push. But it was just, like, so funny, like, how they explained it, and yeah,
Yeah.
I did tear,
Yeah,
but
that's
I didn't I didn't feel any pain from it, though.
like, afterwards, that's good.
Yeah, even, like, after the epidural wore off.
But isn't it so terrifying? Like, it's so terrifying knowing, like, oh my gosh, I have, like, an open wound. Like, you already have an open wound inside your body, but now, like, you have a wound down there too. Like, and you're scared. Like, going to the bathroom for the first time, I was terrified, let me tell you. Like, I did not want to do it. I was so scared. I was, like, crying in the bathroom with, like, some random nurse. And I, like, told her, I was like, "I can't do it." And she was, like, trying to, like, tell me. She's like, "You just squirt water and then you pee." And I was like, "Why does nobody ever talk about this stuff?" Like, literally, like, it is just it's so wrong. It's so wrong. Like, and just that poor nurse lady, like, she's just in there hopping from woman to woman, just like, "Okay, squirt this little water while you pee." Like, oh my gosh, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, but just having like those little experiences, I just feel like really are so unsaid.
Yeah, there was. Was there anything that happened after delivery that you weren't expecting?
Um, I think, well, so like having people in and out of the room like a lot while you're like trying to like learn how to breastfeed and stuff. I feel like that was like hard for me. Like I'm not just used to like just having, my shirt off and like just being in front of people. So like having nurses and doctors come in and like talking to me and like taking my blood where I'm like over here trying to nurse, like I felt pretty uncomfortable. Um
Yeah.
like I feel like it's definitely something you have to get like used to. And then also, um one of the nurses came in and she's like, "Okay, flip over on your side. We have to check you." And I was like, "What?" And like she was
Mhm.
standing behind me and I was like, "What is happening right now?" And then she totally like pulled down my diaper and like looked and I was like, "What is happening?" And I was like, "What was that check for?" And she's like, "Oh, we just have to like make sure we have to monitor like how much you're bleeding or something." And I was like, "What the heck?" Like I don't know. You just really there's no privacy. No
Yeah, you
privacy
just feel
at all.
like there's no control of like what's happening in that
Yes.
situation.
Well, also, I feel like they could explain it a little bit better. I mean, I know it's like their job and like it's just like an 8 to 5 for them and they go to each room and do the same thing, but I definitely feel like there could be like either our doctors need to prepare us for stuff like this or they could do like better explaining at the hospital.
Yeah, I feel like that part no one like prepares you for. And it
Mhm.
doesn't matter like how many like classes you take. Like before I was taking like breastfeeding classes. None of that helped at all. I
Yeah.
was like and then yeah, no one tells you about like what's actually going to happen or what symptoms you might experience or emotions you might go through. I think
Mhm.
the mental load of it is really something that not like doesn't get discussed. Like right after my baby was born, like for me, no one told me like you might have like disconnection, you might not feel like instant bonding with your
Mhm.
child, you might just feel numb and that's how I felt, but I'm pretty sure, there's others who feel joy, happy, maybe sad. Um, how was it for you?
I think I was just scared. Like which I was so shocked by because I did not think I was going to feel that way. But I can remember just sitting but also I felt alone because my family couldn't be there because I had COVID and stuff, and so we had, like, a certain protocol that we had to follow. We couldn't even leave the room at all. So I feel like I just I can just remember it was, like, 3 a.m., and I was just laying there, and your brother was sleeping, and the baby was sleeping, and I was just sitting there crying. I was just crying. Like I was
Yeah,
so I don't know. Like I felt so alone, which like your brother, I could have woke him up and he would have been right there with me, but like it's like even if somebody's right there with you, it's like a weird your body goes through like something and maybe this is not for everybody, but like for me, I just felt like an intense alone like I don't know how to explain it. Like I was just alone and afraid, honestly, like scared. Like I was like, "Oh my gosh, like this is our life. We have to keep this little baby alive." And everything's changed for us. Everything.
yeah. I felt the same way. Like the loneliness, no one explains it, or I don't know if you can even explain it. I think you just have to experience it. And it's
Mhm.
just like you're just alone and you just feel so sad. And I mean, I still continue to feel that way. Um,
Mhm.
they say it takes like a year to kind of like get back to normal.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that happens.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, okay, so I'm 3 years, right, out, almost 4, which I can't even believe I can't even I don't even know how I'm saying that. But, like, I feel like at 2 years, when he was 2 years old, I started to feel really like, okay, everything started to finally fit back into its place and, like, feel normal again, and, but I think everybody experiences like that differently, you know? I think some
Mm-hmm.
women are already having babies by that time, and so I don't know if they ever like maybe they felt back to themselves like earlier than that, but um I definitely feel like it took me 2 years for sure.
Yeah.
So, but I think I think it's so crazy too because you're supposed to I think everybody makes it seem like, oh, it's just like this joyous moment of like once you have the baby, like you're supposed to just be like so excited, which like obviously yes, you're so grateful that the baby's there and healthy and like, you know, but I feel like mothers get overlooked because as soon as the baby's here, it's like, how's the baby? Send me pictures of the baby. What's the baby's name? Like
Yeah. No one
immediately,
asks
which
like, "Oh, how are you feeling?" or
yeah, yeah. And like or people will say like, "Oh, how's mom and baby?" Which like it's fine, you know, but I just don't feel like it's like I feel like we get overlooked so easily, and that's not like anybody's fault. It just like is what it is. But I feel like the nurses could do a better job at like really making us like feel seen instead of just like, okay, now stand up and walk to the bathroom, like, or do this, or do, you know, like, I don't know. I just really felt like there could have been more done in like labor and delivery or mother and baby. I don't know what it's called. But,
yeah.
and also I think it's important that people like talk more about like that loneliness because for me it was like overwhelming because I felt like something was wrong with me. You know what I mean? Like I was
Mhm.
like I'm not supposed to feel this way. You know what I mean? But I think that's normal to feel that way. I feel like everybody probably goes through some emotion of that of like the fear or feeling alone or whatever it may be, but I just don't feel like people talk about that. So then you feel alone in it even more because you don't want to tell people like, yeah, this is really hard for me right now.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be they're like, "What? You're not grateful?" Like, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I was really silent about like everything.
Yes, I know you were. I would always ask you like, "How are you?" And you're like, "I'm good."
Yeah.
No,
Well,
but
'cause like you don't know how to like explain it to people.
no. And you don't
And
want to be
then
judged.
yeah, like I'm going through like a hard time right now. Like how do I
Mhm.
tell anyone? Like you don't know how to ask for help.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then of course like afterwards we'll like go into like postpartum a little bit in the next episode, but
Yeah. Well, and
um
then also like, okay, so how did you feel like sleep-wise? Like, did you get any sleep in
so
the hospital?
no, because my baby had like a complication
Mhm.
and I didn't know like it was normal for them to like spit up the almond fluid, but
Mhm.
he was like doing it throughout the whole night. And when I first noticed it, I freaked out, flipped him over, suctioned him, called the nurse, and she was like, "Yeah, it's normal." But then, because he was doing it all night, thankfully she told the doctor and like didn't just brush it off because I didn't think about it then.
Mhm.
Um, so me and my husband didn't get sleep. I was like, "You have to watch him to make sure he like is breathing, or I'll watch him and we'll take turns." Um, and then they had to like suction him and his tummy was full of fluid.
Oh my gosh.
So
That's so
I know.
scary.
Yeah. So that traumatized me for like
Mhm.
months after he was um like home and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
'cause
I was like,
well, yeah, 'cause then you're like, "Okay, obviously I can't go to sleep. Like, this is my one job right now is, like, keeping him safe, and okay, so there goes my sleep out the window." Like,
yeah.
because what are you supposed to do? Like, there's really nothing you can do. That's so scary that that happened. Ugh,
I know. I
yeah.
was like,
I feel like
I didn't even know that.
I know I've never heard of it either. I mean, maybe I don't know how we've never heard of a lot of this stuff, but like it obviously is really not talked about, you know? Like I don't know, but I definitely feel like I was pretty exhausted. Like obviously you're exhausted after give you go through labor and all that. But I think because my brain wouldn't shut off like after I had him. So even when he was sleeping and your brother was sleeping and stuff, like I feel like all of that time that I should have been getting sleep, I couldn't sleep because I was running through all these emotions. And honestly, I was like really nervous about my own health. Like, I don't know if you went through that, but I had like really bad health anxiety. Like, I was like super nervous. Like, I felt like my blood pressure was getting high because of how much anxiety I was having. And I felt like I was like, "Oh my gosh, am I gonna die?" I don't know if it's just like how much you bleed after or what was going on through my head, but I was so nervous. Did you deal with any of that?
Yeah, it's just like your mind doesn't shut off. And then you just get anxious and you have like thoughts and it's just it's just wild how like we go through all these emotions and no one tells you like, yeah, you might experience this.
And it's so funny too because like look, both of us went through this, right? We're sisters. We didn't even tell each other this. Like about these like little dark thoughts more so I would say that we had because you don't even want to tell anybody about it, you know? But that's the problem. Like we need to talk more because like everybody needs to hear this. Because
I
you shouldn't
know.
feel alone. I feel like if you knew, like if I knew, like, okay, every other mom goes through this exact same feeling as soon as they have their baby. They have a lot of health anxiety. You're safe. You're fine. I would have been able to like reassure myself. But I felt like everybody's always like posting with their hair and makeup done and like in their cute little outfit after they have a baby and they just look so happy and healthy. And I'm over here like, I feel like, what is happening?
I know. I mean, um,
I
I don't know. I can't
don't
even
know.
like explain it. It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, it took me like like now I could talk about it sometimes, and then like other days like I can't talk about it.
Hmm.
Um, so it's like just like a learning process of like being able to like talk about it. And then I think that's like the hard part because no one wants to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think before we like wait until next week, I think we should just talk about one more thing tonight. I think we should talk about the car ride home.
Oh yeah.
Like, did you have to do like a car seat check? Did they make you bring the
No.
car seat into the hospital? Oh, they didn't?
No, they're like, "We don't do that." And I was like, "Oh, you don't?" They're like, "That's old school." They're like, I don't know if there's like a lawsuit or something. Like, so they're like, "Yeah, we don't do that." And I was like,
Oh
"Oh,
my
okay."
gosh. So they made us bring the car seat in, and then when he was so little because I had him so early, so when I put him in the car seat, I was like, "Oh my gosh," like I was kind of terrified because of how tiny he was in it, you know? And so I like buckled him up and everything, and then I asked the nurse, I was like, "You think he looks okay, right?" And she's like, "Oh, we can't answer that." So she did tell me that, but it's like, "Well, why did you want me to bring my car seat in then?" Like, I don't know. But um so you guys went down to the car and then were you like freaking out leaving the hospital or were you happy to leave or how did you feel?
No, we were stuck there for 4 days. I wanted to go home and take a shower and just like kind of breathe because I felt
Mhm.
like I was trapped in the hospital. And me and my husband were like, "Oh my gosh, we're out."
Yeah, we felt the
um,
same way.
Yeah, but, during the whole hospital stay, like, I just felt kinda, like, numb throughout it all, and
Mhm.
then once we put him in the car seat and driving home, that's when, like, my emotions hit, and I was just crying.
Because it's normal.
Because
That's
it's not.
why. Yeah.
Just
Um,
get used to crying for no reason.
well, okay, so were you like, "Oh, drive slow," or were you like, "Get home, I don't care," or how like, what were you feeling? Or were you just, like, so emotional that you couldn't even think of anything?
Yeah, I was just so emotional. I was just crying, and my husband, "It's okay." I'm like, I don't even know what I'm feeling, but okay."
I know, because it's, like, so hard to explain, but I think it's a lot to do with our hormones too, just, like, rushing through our bodies. But, I just remember I can remember sitting in the back seat and just, like, looking at him and, like, thinking, like, "Oh my gosh. Oh, no. Like, this is crazy. Like, what are we doing right now? How" oh my gosh, I was so scared. I was like which is so funny because like, I did not have that feeling at all during my whole pregnancy, like, I felt so prepared. I felt like we were so ready, and then in the car, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, this little tiny thing, like, what are we even gonna do? Like, how are we gonna take care of him?"
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely a lot of emotions, so and I, like, told your brother, I was like, "Drive slow." Like, I was so nervous. Um,
Yeah, none of that.
gosh.
I wasn't like I was just crying. I was like
Yeah, so because I was in the hospital for 5 days, so, like, maybe your emotions hit the same time that mine did, like, the 4th day, and I was still in the hospital, so maybe that's normal. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know because a
I
lot of
don't
people
know
don't
either.
talk about it.
I mean, I
So
know everyone goes through, like, this baby blues phase of, like, takes, like, 2 weeks for your hormones to kinda, like,
mhm.
readjust,
And
but then
do you remember when, like, that faded off and, like, how you were feeling then?
I
Like,
mean,
did
that
you
never
ever
faded off.
okay, so it just continued for you,
Yeah, 'cause, um, postpartum
postpartum?
depression.
Okay, so there was, like, never, like, a breaking like, a point in the middle. It just continued since the hospital.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
there's, like, no relief. And then, like, 10 months in, I just barely started feeling like maybe like a few days, I'll be like, okay, I kind of feel okay. And then it just
Mhm.
like hits you again. And then like you just feel sad and crying. And then you just like worry. Um, but like the intrusive thoughts have stopped. And
Mhm.
then like you get like nightmares. And then you just have all these like thoughts. Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
crazy.
gosh. Yeah, that's terrible.
I mean, I still
Yeah,
do have nightmares.
right, yeah, okay,
And it's
so
all like anxiety provoking, like
oh, really?
terrifying nightmares. Yeah, of like something happening to your baby
Oh my gosh.
or yeah. So I've been
Yeah.
going through that.
Yeah, that's so hard, and I can't believe that you, like, haven't gotten a break in 10 months. Like, that's a lot for your mind and your body and stuff, so I think we should definitely get more into that next week. Um, we should probably leave on that note just because I think it gets really deep from here. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, so let's just stop on that note. But this is Motherhood Unsaid. No one tells you how to prepare for the thoughts that come with labor, or the symptoms that make you question yourself, or the mental shift of going home, or how love and fear can exist together. If your experience didn't match the story you were told, you are not alone, and you are seen, and your feelings are very real. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Bye.
Yep. Bye.